Eric Burgess here, and we've been asked to solve the following equation. The absolute value of x plus 1 equal to the absolute value of 1 minus 3x. So this looks scary because we have two absolute value signs, but it is not that scary. So consider a simpler case. The absolute value of a equal to the absolute value of b, right? If a is 3, b can be either 3 or negative 3. And the same is true for a. If b is 3, a could be 3 or negative 3. So all we need to do is take one side and include the negative version of it. So it's kind of like we were dealing if only one side had an absolute value and this side was a constant number. Because the absolute values always force things to be positive, we don't need to worry too much about flipping both sides. We only need to flip one side. So we're going to get two cases out of this. We're going to get the case of x plus 1 is equal to the version of this that's positive. So that's going to be 1 minus 3x. And we're going to get a second case where x plus 1 is equal to the version of this that is negative. So that's going to be negative 1 minus 3x. So now solving for these, and hopefully this makes sense. We're simply taking it so that whatever this number is, it's going to be either the negative version of it or the positive version of it. The absolute values will always make everything positive, so we don't need to worry about the fact that we're going to wind up with a negative version inside. And then this one we can kind of ignore because I'm treating this one as the one we're looking at. So this is going to be our plus minus version. We could look at this the other way and take the plus minus version of this and leave this one alone. And you could also do that and get the right answer. So all right, let's solve this thing. So going with the one on the left, first I'm going to subtract 1 to both sides. When we do that, the ones just go away. So we're going to be left with x is equal to negative 3x. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add 3x to both sides, and we're going to get 4x is equal to 0. We're going to get that x is equal to 0. Now for the negative case, I'm going to first distribute that negative. So we're going to get x plus 1 is equal to negative 1 plus 3x. Now I'm going to simply move the 1 over. So I'm going to subtract 1 to both sides, and we're going to get x is equal to negative 2 plus 3x. Now I'm going to move the 3x over and subtract 3x to both sides. So we're going to get negative 2x is equal to negative 2. And on this one, we get that x is equal to 1. So of course, it's a good idea to check these to verify that we've got the right answers. So if we plug in 0, what do we get? Well, if we plug in 0, we're going to get 0 plus 1, absolute value, is equal to 1 minus 3 times 0, which is the absolute value of 1 and the absolute value of 1, which is 1 equals 1. So this one checks out. The other one is that x is equal to 1. So if we do that, we're going to get 1 plus 1 equal to 1 minus, and this is going to be 3 times 1. And doing this, we get the absolute value of 2 is equal to the absolute value of negative 2. And that's 2 equals 2, which also checks out. So these two answers indeed check, and we can write our solution set as x is equal, or not equal to, but x is an element of the set 0, 2. Or 1. My mistake. It is 1. And we would box this and we'd say these are the answers. And again, you can simply remember the case that the absolute value of a equals absolute value of b, right? If you have two absolute values, just recall that the absolute value of a, right? Well, b inside there could be plus or negative. It's still going to be, we're still going to wind up with plus b at the end of the day. And a, for the same reason, can still wind up it can be plus or minus, and we're still going to wind up with plus a. So we're still going to wind up with a equals b at the end of the day. So when we have two absolute values, you can simply take one side and simply flip it. And the reason we can do this is because the negatives are taken care of by the absolute value signs. If you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you're a Citrus College student, Consider stopping by online tutoring. We're there to help you out. Subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next problem.